And
Nothing, guys. Nobody
no.
laughing.
So when I watch stand up, I'm like, man, a lot of my stuff would have to be based on improv, and it's a fear. It really is, and I'm not even afraid to admit that. It's a fear of knowing that I've made it
Right.
to a certain degree, and then now I got to go start over with something where I'm going to have this perception, maybe that, oh, he's not funny right now, like, or he's not funny, or I want to see him do it, and then I got to build out of that, which takes up every ounce of my, like, my mental capacity. And I'm still acting, I'm still writing, I'm still, trying to maintain regular life. That right there would take me on a whole new journey I'm not ready for yet. Because I know me, I would have to stop acting for a while because I would have to dive in.
Yeah.
And,
People ask me why I haven't done a special yet, and it's because I've been acting. And I'm like, before I do a special, I know I want to go on the road for like a year straight and only do stand up to really hone that material before I put out a special.
Exactly.
So I get it.
I was on BET for 3 years, and I remember leaving BET, coming to LA, going completely broke. Like, when I say broke, I mean I used to walk down the streets just in North Hollywood like I was just taking regular walks, but I was really looking for change on the ground.
Wow.
And that's how I ate every day. I would literally just walk around real slow all through North Hollywood, right where the bars and stuff is on Lankershim or Magnolia, right there. Pick up, I find 50 cents, I might find $1, I might find this. Before I know it, I got like $10, I'm about to grab something to eat. So that, I remember getting on a bus one time to go to an audition in Santa Monica, and this girl was like, yo, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, oh, damn, like I ain't had nobody ask me for a photo in at least a year or some change. And then, so I was like, yeah, of course. And then the cat she was with was like, that ain't him, stupid. Why would he be on the bus? And that made me I had this sense of falling off. That's one of my fears, because you work so hard to get to a place, and I never wanted to go back there. I never wanted to go back to the place I was financially, mentally, more importantly, because mentally, emotionally, man, I was fucked up. Like it was bad out here. So I didn't want to go back to that. So I know there's a small part of me that's like, and it is this fear, and I can admit it, that if I go back and start doing stand-up, which I love, but if I do it, I got to start over. You know what I mean? And then I might have to hit those.
You will hit them.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it ain't no avoiding that. Them nights gonna happen. But that's it's amazing you say that, because that's a personal fear of mine just in my career, even right now. You know, like I've been working consistently going on 5 or 6 years on network TV, but I'm like, if this show gets canceled or they decide to fire me, like, how do I have enough money saved up? You know what I'm saying? Have I made the right investments? I like to think I have. But I mean, even the house that I'm in right now, this is a house that I have for corporate rentals.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I rent this house out to people. I bought it as an investment property. But I know what it's like to have that fear. And so for you to have to go back on the bus, that's kind of like a fear that's in the back of my head. Like, man, what if I got to go back to being a bag boy?
Exactly. You never know. And so, especially with what we do, and again, a lot of it is the outside perspective, and it's this outside pressure for you to be great all the time, where you can't be human. If once people know who you are and you've got some popularity and people consider you successful, you can't be human. That's why I love a lot of times, and I know it's just going to sound stupid or sound dumb, but when I see an actor or a musician or an athlete go through some troubling times, and then I it's almost like they're martyrs for us, because when they bounce back, I love it. Like I love when I see somebody going through something. Like you see Kevin Hart going through something, you're like, back of your mind, you're like, oh, he's human. But I also know he's going to bounce back from this. So when he's
Kevin Hart,
exactly. That's what you feel like The Rock could get in trouble tomorrow. I feel like 2 weeks later, he's gonna bounce back.
He gonna
That
bounce
gives me
back.
some hope. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
like, it's I don't know.
No, man, I'm glad you shared that because I didn't know that, and you know that's the thing. I knew you had a great story to tell because see, you're someone that I personally know it wasn't an overnight success.
Yeah.
You know, it was a consistent grind. So I'm gonna tell you the first time I saw you was I believe it was on BET, maybe like one of the Spring Blings or something,
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
and I felt like BET had hired a bunch of new hosts or
Yeah.
something.
New faces.
New faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember that's before I got into the industry. So I was like, who are all these niggas? You
Yeah.
know, because I was probably in college maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe high school or college. And all I knew is I wanted to be on TV. I'm like, dang, I want to be doing that. I'm like, who are these dudes? But I think that's when I first became aware of you.
Yeah.
So to know, and I'm gonna ask you how you got that, but to know you went from BET to looking for change on the ground, people don't know that, but it should be inspiring to anyone that's going through anything to be like, wow, look what he made it out of, you know.
Yeah, man, it was definitely a troubling time for me, but also when I tell people the story, it definitely helps people because we're all actors and we're all entertainers, and we're all chasing these dreams that are pretty much impossible to get, you know. But when you put that work ethic and then people have examples of people who've done it, you know. I hear the story of Tyler Perry sleeping in his car for however long, you know what I'm saying? I hear these stories all the time. Robert Downey Jr. sleeping on his friend's couch before, you know, Iron Man. Like, I hear about these stories and I go,
wow, I didn't know that before Iron Man he was doing that.
Yeah, apparently he borrowed money for a suit, borrowed his friend's car, went and got his hairstyle like Tony Stark, the goatee, did the whole thing while he was sleeping on his boy's couch.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So obviously don't quote me on it, but look it up. Like,
I believe everything you said. I believe 100%. I'm not.
Yeah, he called me one day and was like, Lamorne, can I please give you $1 million? And I'm still waiting on it. So let that be true too.
Right. Good.
They hired me for Iron Man. I said no.
Oh, good. Okay.
Terrence Howard was like, fuck this.
Wise decisions by both of you too.
Yeah. But no, I remember for BET, there was Chicago. They had something called the New Faces Search. And at the time, I was doing maybe 2 shows a day at Second City, and I was in class and I was waiting tables at the same time.
Okay.
And so I was kind of busy, but just with like trying to make $30 for the day waiting tables just so I could pay for like train and bus fare and some food for the day. So that was my grind every day. And I knew it was going to pay off just because I felt like I was getting better at Second City, and the community of people that I was with were all really funny. So a lot of the cats that, you know, came out of Second City around the time I came out of Second City and Prov Olympic and all these places are all working. They're all, you know, Thomas Middleditch and Stephen Yoon from Walking Dead, and like,
wow,
you know, TJ Miller was over there. Like, a lot of cats, you know, are doing it. So they had an audition for the New Faces Search at this place, and I just remember walking past and my agent called, and I was like, wait, is it the spot over on Dearborn? They were like, yeah, it's on Dearborn. I said, it's like 5,000 people out here waiting in a line. She's like, oh, no, you're good. Because you have an agent, you don't have to wait in line. You can just walk straight in. So I'm walking past my boys in line. I'm in a comedy group with some of these cats, and I'm like, hey,
mad as hell.
Y'all agent didn't call for y'all? Oh, it's all good. I'll be inside. Walk right inside, read. And I remember the read was like real, like, video countdown, like, yo, coming in at number 10, we got blah, blah, blah. And that's just not who I am. So when I read it, I immediately retreated. I went, whoa, there's no way I could. I was like, this is what the audition is? I definitely don't want this job. But so I made stuff up. I improvised. Which is all I knew how to do at that point. I was better improviser than actor, that's for damn sure. So I just went in and like, I remember there being like Mary J. Blige on the countdown and Mike Jones. Remember Mike Jones would be like, Mike
who?
Jones? Exactly. Now you're probably saying for real, who's Mike? No,
No,
no, that's not.
I heard Mike Jones just got his phone number back. You know, he used to say his phone number in all the songs.
8004. Hit Mike
Right.
Jones. Man, that dude was nice. He needs to come back out with it.
Mike Jones was a beast. I'm gonna try to get him on here.
Monster, dog. That dude is dope. But I remember it being on the countdown, and I was like, Mike Jones is coming in at number 5. I guess I gotta say it. Mike Jones who? Mike Jones who? I was like, can we retire this Mike Jones thing now? And I said that, and I was like, Mary J. Blige coming in number 4 with No More Drama. I was like, when did she ever not have drama though?
That's
I was
funny.
like, Mary J. Blige cries more than anybody. So I just kept doing these weird bits, and then I was like, number 3 to number 2 is not really that important. But I was like,
number 1.
Yeah, number 1 is this. So I did that, and I could hear behind the camera laughter. But I didn't know who was behind the camera because it was real dark and it was just a big bright light, and you had each person was in these little booths. It wasn't like a regular audition room. They had these curtains literally like this wide, where you stand there and you just read right into the lens, and it was a bright light. So I didn't know who was behind there. I got lucky because a lot of people at BET didn't like my sense of humor. I knew this after the fact, but a lot of the people, the producers there, we were cool, but it being New York, a lot of these cats are straight up blunt.
Right.
Yo, I don't fuck with your jokes and all that. I think you a cool nigga.
At least they were honest with you.
Right. And then I realized that person behind the camera was Reggie Hudlin.
Oh.
I got real lucky because Reginald Hudlin went to Second City. Reginald Hudlin is a comedy snob, so he understood where I was coming from, and he understood that if we hire 4 people who sound like the host that we already have, and who already have this charisma about them that's very, they can tap into that culture of young Black kids in New York and all over the country, sometimes all over the world. Mine was a little bit different. You know, obviously I can tap into that, but again, my comedy was weird that it was a hard pill to swallow for some people. So Reggie understood it, that we needed that somewhere, you know. He knew the programming that was coming out. There was a tech show, video game and gadget show. There was spring bling.